ora. Welcome to Lightning Flash News. I'm Poonam.
And I'm Dana. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We helped them find it. And the latest with it around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more upside down and topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house, and before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom, although it's not known if anyone has tried to bathe in it or go to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took workers 4 months because they kept getting disorientated by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Kelsey, who's inside the house. How are you feeling, Kelsey?
Thanks, Poonam. I'm here with the owner of the house now, Bob, and I am feeling wonderful. So what made you decide to build this upside-down house?
I wanted to be different from all the neighbours and their boring lifestyle.
What comment do you feel this house makes on about the state of the world?
It shows that there's difference to everything, like light and darkness.
What are some of the challenges living in an upside-down house where the bedrooms, bathrooms and kitchen are kind of on the ceiling?
I don't actually live in the house. My wife kicked me out a couple of days ago.
What does your wife think of this?
She calls me a lying toad because I said I'd build her a dream house.
Thanks, Mackley. Well, that's all from me. Now back to you, Dana, in the studio.
Thanks, Kelsey. Even watching that makes me feel upside down. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled in a way using special tiny crystals that makes objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope it won't be long before hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says the possibilities are endless, and we are very excited. However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears, the inventor of the cloak said. It appears they are having trouble finding other things like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak.
Hi, I'm Dennis, and with... Oh, shit. Hi, I'm Dennis, and with me is Mason and Trent, two of the scientists behind the invisible cloak. Hello, Mason and Trent. Thank you for joining us. What made you want to invent the invisibility cloak?
You know, as a kid, you always want your parents' lollies, and yeah, that's where it all started.
Can you show me how the invisibility cloak works?
I've got it on now and just can see them invisible. Pretty cool there. Yeah.
What do you hope the cloak will be used for?
Top secret missions and, yeah, for good, not for evil.
When will the cloak sell?
Well, we're hoping to have it in stores by the end of the year.
Well, that makes it very clear. And we're out of time. Back to you, Poonam, in the studio.
Thanks, Dennis. And now how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wall-waving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small knitted jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing, police say, and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. There are a close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not known if anyone has tried to go as far as yet, a spokesman from the police said today. So far the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull over the eyes both of the public and police. We go now over to our secret location with our investigative reporter Richard, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Poonam. I'm Richard, and joining me in this top secret location is a member from the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello, Christopher, and thanks for joining us. What led you into the dark underworld of the knitted graffiti?
Well, I hate graffiti, so instead I done knitted graffiti.
Do you see yourself as a criminal? Why or why not?
No, I see myself as an artist.
Apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, what other things do you like to graffiti with your woolens?
I'd like to graffiti on somewhere where people walk past heaps, like a building.
How long have you been in the knitted graffiti gang?
About 2 years now.
Thanks for your time, Christopher, of the Midnight Knitters gang. Now we will go over to Sarah with the weather update.
Good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia, look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There will be no weather at all for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but it is expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, there will be weather sometimes. The weather will be sometimes changeable and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen.
In the Taranaki, a mild depression brings with a very dull day, with no highlights at all. It will be overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening. So don't worry, everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind at all, and the day conditions will be so pleasant they will be actually classed as extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura can expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim, and even reading newspapers. But try to stay indoors, as the weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall, with some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms, and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold, and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop over for a visit. And everybody loves the sun. That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, wear a jacket and a hat. That's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now it's back to the news desk with Dana and Poonam.
Thanks, Tenzin and Sarah. Well, that's all we have time for.
We hope you've enjoyed this evening broadcast. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again. Until next time, I'm Dana.
And I'm Poonam. For Lightning Flash News, goodbye.
E nohora.
Ladies and gentlemen. Roll the camera. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, take 2. Take 2.